Wow, Michael. It starts with a fountainscape in the front yard, goes to a bigger fountainscape in the backyard, and eventually becomes an aquascape ecosystem pond. But it feels so much bigger because of all of the different elements going on in here. So, Mr. Pasinski, have you been to this pond?
I have.
Did you help build it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this is very exciting. I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. And we are at the home of 10-year-long, how long, Michael? 9-year-long Aquascape teammate,
Welcome.
National Sales Manager, and I remember the story of this front fountainscape.
Yeah, that was the first step, stage 1 of 3.
So this is how it all starts. You put in a small fountainscape out in the front, and then this is really cool. When you put this in, the dog that you have, what's the story with the dog that sits out here?
So Triton's a little peekapon, and he used to run away. The minute we'd open the door, everybody'd shout, "Get the dog."
Right there,
That's
looking at
him.
us?
Yeah, we can let him out.
Can we meet him?
If you want.
Yeah.
He'd love to come out and see you. Just open the door. So he used to run away, and we had to catch him. The minute we put this in, come on, T.
Oh my goodness. Look at that overbite. That is hilarious. Looks like he just got shaved.
He did. He got
Okay.
his summer haircut. That's his favorite seat. We always fight him.
So what
for
is
the
this, maybe
shirt.
like 3 years old or something?
This is 6 years old.
Oh my gosh, you've had it for that
Yeah.
long. Okay, so tell the story with.
So he'd go running out the door. Well, the minute we put this in, he really never comes off this stoop. In fact, when we're sitting out here having a glass of wine at night, he'll just park himself right here. Doesn't run away at all anymore.
So the Aquascape lifestyle actually changed the habit of your dog.
It calmed him down. I don't advocate for people to trust their dog until they get the same results, but it happened with ours.
So he loves hanging out by in the front
He
stoop
never
here.
leaves the yard now. He'll toggle back and forth between the front and back. Sometimes we find him up here by himself.
Is this year 2 for the big pond in the back?
Full second year, yes. We started late fall 3 years ago.
Let's check out a full bore Aquascape ecosystem pond in the back. So this, wasn't there a swimming pool back here? I think there still is, right?
There is still the original swimming pool.
Wow, Michael. And this is a whole addition that came on, right?
All of this, everything you see, did not exist.
Oh
We
my
had-
God.
Where the fountains are back there were wildflower weeds, basically.
Okay.
This area where the pavilion is at up here was all just grass with an old shed. Of course, this was just open yard.
Wow. Okay, so this, what I love to show about this, Michael, is this was just grass back here. I mean,
Yes.
this is a traditional, how big is this lot?
About a quarter acre.
A quarter-acre lot, but it feels so much bigger because of all of the different elements going on in here. And you did a lot of this work yourself. You had
Yeah.
Brian come out and design it.
This part we put in, Chris Wilson helped us, one of our longtime 20-year veterans.
Uh-huh.
So this was stage 2. This was put in by itself
Okay. Yep.
5 years ago.
6 years ago for the fountainscape in the front, 5 years for the backyard fountainscape with all the fire elements. This has got to look beautiful at night.
It is wonderful.
And then how about this full bore Aquascape ecosystem pond?
So this happened 3 summers ago. We completed it, turned the water on late fall. It was one of these, get a couple hours here, get a couple hours there. Guys coming over to help. Brian helped with the design and got us started with the waterfalls. And then from there, it was just, last year was all plants for the second year. So this is really only the second year for these plants. God bless Rose. She watered waters these things twice a day.
How has living the Aquascape lifestyle changed you as a sales guy for Aquascape?
So every presentation I give nationwide involves simply slides of our water features. I always start with the front one and a picture of Triton, and tell his story, move back here to stage 2. We call this intermediate, kind of our middle school project, and then we break out what we did here with this water feature. Talk about how the neighbors, as we walk back, you can hear the water echoing between the houses. It's a really big kids, dog walking neighborhood, so we constantly have people, when we're sitting in the front, asking us, what's that noise? What's going on back there?
Come on back.
And we always roll them back, and we come back here. So yeah, it's this is where I live. I start every day pretty much sitting out here under the pavilion.
Now this was obviously your job. How has this changed Rose's, your wife's job?
She's my, she's my better half for sure. So her job, she works from home now since COVID, and she's currently on a call, or she'd be out here with us right now. But she's out here twice a day. This is her passion. She either has a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and the garden hose in the other hand. She covers every square inch of this yard twice a day for 1 to 2 hours, and it can't get her away from her. She's barefoot out here.
And that's not something normal. That wasn't the way it was before the pond, right?
Not at all. She's always loved doing her annual pots and things like this, but this took it to a whole other level. She was completely against it. I talked her into the fountain. That seemed a little...
That's how it started. This is very typical. One person wants it more than the other, but almost always, because of the anxiety that's doing a major project has, the person who doesn't want it as much as the one who does ends up loving it even more because their anxiety doesn't come to fruition. It actually, they enjoy it more than their fears, because it's something new, don't come to fruition.
So yeah, that's her time. These plants, we joke about it all the time. I do everything in the water. She does everything outside.
Except everything. You built this whole extension came on here, right?
I built that last summer. That was the final piece.
This is a fantastic outdoor room now.
So it changed how we can use this.
Yes.
Think of the last few days where it's been hot and humid, or the rain coming down.
Huge rain we got.
We would have been washed inside every single day, whether the sun's too hot, the rain's coming down, and now we have really pretty much almost a 12 season, easily a 9 season place to enjoy the pond.
I can tell you this right now, I can't think of a better seat than right here, right next to your beautiful Wanvisas. Look at how great. Michael, I'm very proud of you. You are fertilizing your plants. Look at the size. And when they're growing this big, it means they're actually growing outside of the pot that they're in. This is a healthy, beautiful Wanvisa. And the cool things about the Wanvisas is sometimes you get a mixed color pad like you do right here. Gorgeous looking aquatic plants, Michael. So you've been listening to my vlogs about how to properly fertilize and take care of your aquatic plants.
Absolutely. That's actually a second year for this one.
Amazing.
And these two are added. I had some annuals there last year that didn't come back, unfortunately, but those got replaced this year. There was only 3 or 4 pads on that plant when we first put it in about a month ago.
This is a 1/4 acre lot, but look at how big it feels because of all of the different vertical elevations, the plant material. It's so much different than just having grass.
We want to walk you through our pond a little bit here and tell you a little bit about what we were thinking as we designed this. Brian Helfrich, we mentioned, helped in the design of this after kind of getting some background from Rose and I and how we wanted to live with the pond. As you can see, our waterfall starts up here. In our biofalls, we slowly but surely keep adding plants and rock to that to really try to make it as less conspicuous as possible. Eventually, this tree we planted up here is going to end up providing a nice little backdrop to that. We're trying to give it some height. The purpose of this was really to start the waterfalls back here, seemingly coming out from behind the pool that we have that existed already in the yard. And so you can kind of hear the water coming through, and it just adds a nice effect coming around the side. I'll walk back here a little bit. Plants was the big thing. We really wanted to tie in as the waterfalls comes down. We've got several different types of plants that are growing, hopefully over the years. This is really the second full year of the main plantings around the pond. As you can see, it drops down. You can see some of the plants are already creeping into the water here, which is some of our favorite attributes. We also added lighting, probably most importantly, lighting in the pond. While you can't see it here, there's lights on each one of the waterfalls. And of course, as we look out here into the bigger pond, we've got spotlights that will help accent some of that. We've also added terrestrial lighting, as you can see here, that really highlights some of the main parts. In the evening hours, we have lights that are shining all the way up in the trees here and over here, and it really gives a nice backdrop. It gives a lot of nice height to the yard. It makes it feel cozy, kind of like an adventure. One nice part of this thing is we wanted to be able to get over. We had originally put in these fountains here with the path around there, and we wanted a way to get over there. So we added the bridge that goes over as the falls end and come down into the stream so that we can go to that path there, and it kind of gives a little bit of a mystery behind it. And as the plants grow, it'll even become more inconspicuous. It'll be something that people want to explore and walk through. Another real important thing, this is Brian's idea, was this rock wash coming into the water feature. He said it when we were talking about it over the table, that that's where the animals are going to interact the most. I can say Triton, our dog, goes in there all the time. Birds, I've seen squirrels. We had a couple of ducks this year that came in and they entered all the time right through that wash. So it's really become a great entry point and a focal point of where wildlife is interacting with the pond. Walking back this way, you can kind of see the effect of how the waterfalls comes down, seemingly sort of from behind the pool, the bridge walking over, we get into the bigger part of the pond. We started off, as I think always goes, people build smaller and then they get bigger. And as this pond went, I had the luxury, because I worked for the company and personally knew the guys who were helping build it, we kind of expanded the size of the pond as we went. So it's a little bit bigger than we originally planned. We made it a little deeper. It's about 4 foot in the deepest section. Unfortunately, we've had 2 nights of torrential downpours, really violent storms. And so my water's a little bit cloudy, but it cleans up remarkably fast. That's one nice thing about this pond. So I really don't have to do very much at all when it comes to taking care of the pond. You see the lid for our skimmer up here. And really the one thing that makes it the easiest is our XT dosing system. There's a container in there that feeds continuously, like an IV drip, a proprietary batch of treatments that keeps the water stabilized, keeps the pond balanced, and really that's all there is to it. Occasionally, I'd say about once a week, I go in there and take the lid off of that skimmer, pull leaves out if any develop in there, and that's it. The rest of the time, I'm just sitting here enjoying the water features, the noise it makes, all the animals that come around. This really has turned into the place where we spend all of our time. It's our favorite place. Just total peace and serenity. We love it. So at the end of the day, when we got the entire thing finished, the pond itself, that's the digging out of the pond, the rock work, water flowing, it was approximately $75,000 top to bottom. Doesn't include the plants, of course, but that got us to where we have this beautiful water feature today.
This is how this hobby starts. It starts with a fountainscape in the front yard, goes to a bigger fountainscape in the backyard, and eventually becomes an Aquascape ecosystem pond. The average consumer gets 3 water features: big, bigger, biggest, good, better, best. And I'm not the fountainscape guy. I'm not even the pondless guy. I am the pond guy for a reason. This is a lifestyle. Not only do you have all of the aquatic plants that you can do, the terrestrial plants, but it creates a space. There is nothing that you could put in this yard that would create a more dramatic impact in that space than a decorative water feature. This yard is a 1/4 of an acre, but when you walk around it, that includes the front yard. When you walk around it, it feels like you're on significantly more. And the interest level compared to the neighbors, it just has grass to grow. There's a little bit of grass back here, but the majority of this is just landscaping, plants, and obviously the aquascapes. If you're interested in living the aquascape lifestyle, just like our Michael Hammer is doing, I'm gonna put a link below for you to find a certified aquascape contractor by you. I love my job.